India's President Draupadi Murmu addressed the joint sitting of Parliament and congratulated all newly elected MPs. She said that the country created several records in the general elections 2024 and the entire world is talking about it. President Murmu highlighted the successful conduct of elections in Jammu and Kashmir, saying Kashmir witnessed low voting amid shutdowns and strikes in the last 4 decades. But this time, Kashmir Valley gave a befitting reply to India's enemies with record voter turnout.
इस बार भी महिलाओं ने बढ़ चढ़कर मतदान में हिस्सा लिया है। इस चुनाव की बहुत सुखद तस्वीर जम्मू कश्मीर में भी सामने आए हैं। कश्मीर घाटी में वोटिंग के अनेक दशकों के रिकॉर्ड टूटे हैं। बीते 4 दशकों में कश्मीर में हमने बंद और हड़ताल के बीच कम मतदान का दौर ही देखा था। भारत के दुश्मन इसको वैश्विक मंचों पर जम्मू कश्मीर की राय के रूप में दुष्प्रचारित करते रहे, लेकिन इस बार कश्मीर घाटी ने देश और दुनिया में ऐसे हार ताकत को करारा जवाब दिया है।
In her address, the President said the new government is going to present its first general budget in the coming Parliament session, which will be an effective document of its far-reaching policies and futuristic vision, and reforms will be fast-tracked.
आगामी सत्रों में मेरी सरकार अपने इस कार्यकाल का पहला बजट पेश करने जा रही है। ये बजट सरकार की दूरगामी नीतियों और फ्यूचरिस्टिक विजन का एक प्रभावी दस्तावेज होगा। इस बजट में बड़े आर्थिक और सामाजिक निर्णयों के साथ ही अनेक ऐतिहासिक कदम भी देखने को मिलेंगे।
President Murmu noted that in 10 years, the country has risen from 11th position to become the 5th largest economy. She said that India achieved this feat despite a pandemic and conflicts in different parts of the world. She also asserted that the government is striving to make India the 3rd largest economy in the world.
माननीय सदस्यगण, रिफॉर्म, परफॉर्म और ट्रांसफॉर्म के संकल्प ने आज भारत को दुनिया की सबसे तेजी से बढ़ने वाली अर्थव्यवस्था बना दिया है। 10 साल में भारत 11वें नंबर की अर्थव्यवस्था से ऊपर उठकर 5वें नंबर पर पहुंचा। साल 2021 से लेकर साल 2024 के बीच भारत में औसतन 8% की रफ्तार से विकास किया है और ये ग्रोथ सामान्य समय में नहीं हुई है। बीती वर्षों में हमने 100 साल की सबसे बड़ी आपात देखी। वैश्विक महामारी के कालखंड और विश्व के अलग अलग कोने में चल रही संघर्षों के बावजूद भारत ने ये विकास दर हासिल की है। ये बीते 10 साल के रिफॉर्म्स और राष्ट्रहित में के लिए किए गए फैसला के कारण संभव है। आज भारत अकेले ही दुनिया की ग्रोथ में 15% का योगदान दे रही है। अब मेरी सरकार भारत को विश्व की 3रे नंबर की इकोनॉमी बनाने में जुटी हुई है।
All right, and DD India correspondent Dendu Mel joins us to give us more information on this from New Delhi. Hello, Dendu. President Draupadi Murmu addressed the joint sitting of Parliament. She, in fact, congratulated all the newly elected MPs and lauded the Election Commission for successfully conducted the 2024 Lok Sabha elections and talked about achievements of the government as well. What are you getting for us?
Well, Siddharth, that's right. We had the inaugural address of the President of India addressing the joint session of Parliament this morning. Of course, she congratulated all the newly elected Member of Parliament in the recently concluded elections of 2024. Apart from that, as you were also saying, that the President also congratulated the Election Commission of India for conducting an election of a mammoth size of that of India.
Dendu, could you be a little loud?
And also, the election, the President of India did also congratulate all the members of parliament, the election commission, also the President of India, while addressing the joint session, did also talk about the achievements of the Modi 2.0 government. She also spoke about the vision with which the government will be working for the next 5 years. So, of course, these are some of the key aspects and highlights of the President's speech, but also the President highlighted about, the emergency period which created an uproar in Parliament. Yesterday also, Speaker Om Birla did talk about the emergency, the dark period of emergency, which attracted, uproar from the opposition benches within the Parliament. So, of course, she did talk about how the budget session will outlay the government's vision and plan for the next 5 years. And she also spoke about how the government is working towards the 4 pillars for farmers, for the upliftment of poverty and for the welfare of the poor and the women and marginalized section of society. So these are some of the key highlights of the speech of the President.
All right. Thank you so much, Divyendu, for all those details. And we also have Mr. Praul Katar, who is joining us on the broadcast. He's editor, organizer. Sir, first of all, thank you so much for sparing out your valuable time and joining in on the broadcast. Let's begin with the Honorable President. She said regarding the government and India's stature on the global stage, India's human-centric approach, she said, the country is a loud voice of global South. How do you see this?
See, if we see the Honorable President's speech in entirety, then we get a clear-cut picture about the way narratives about Indian democracy has been spread and how Indian voters, like for example, she mentioned clearly about Jammu Kashmir.
Correct.
And Jammu Kashmir's voter and the rise of voting in Jammu Kashmir. So the goal of Vishwa Bandhu Bharat, the goal of Green India. Now, therefore, the point that you have raised, that when we are talking about the Bharat India being the voice of the global South, it has a natural leadership because it is not India that is claiming that leadership. It is the South that believes that, we represent those sentiments. So India, on the one hand, is representing global South sentiments in G7 and G20 like forums, and at the same time helping out the countries of Asia and Africa to come together and formulate joint policies, whether related to trade, whether related to agriculture, whether related to healthcare and wellness. So it clearly shows that, one important point that I, realized while listening to the speech, it clearly shows that when it comes to the infrastructural development, net zero goals. So the green future seems to be the major policy focus of this government for the next 5 years. And it will be very interesting in the next budget how far government is taking steps to ensure that whatever development is taking place, it is into the net zero direction.
Okay, sir, while lauding the government, President Murmu said that from Nari Shakti Vandan Act to My Youth India, My Bharat campaign, to increase participation of youth in nation building, to launching of Nalanda University, to building of 3.8 lakh kilometers rural roads under PM Gramin Sadak Yojana to connect villages. The list is very long. The government has taken care of people of India, in every sector.
See, being such a diverse country, it is not just about delivering, things on the ground. The point here is, of course, Honorable President has mentioned about the achievements of last 10 years and the way we have faced the challenge of global pandemic, the biggest one in last 100 years. But at the same time, how those initiatives have been inclusive enough. Like, for example, she spoke about the reforms in the banking sector. She talked about the way cooperative sector and cooperative financing has been improved. Cooperative storage system has been improved. At the same time, you spoke about women, youth, rural infrastructure, agriculture, and farmers, and of course, tribal. President herself talking about Janajatiya Gaurav Divas and inclusion of tribal development and tribal rights in the policy making process is a very important message, I believe, because we have seen during the election campaign that there was an attempt to create or build a narrative that as if the government policies have been against either scheduled caste or scheduled tribes, and globally there are many forces who would like to peddle these kind of narratives where the government policies. But the fact is, when it comes to the government policies, they are more and more inclusive. They are trying to touch each and every social sector, and therefore, Honorable President not just underscored this fact, but also mentioned that this is going to be the major focus.
Yeah, correct.
This is going to be the driving force, because ultimately, development of each section. Similarly, she mentioned one interesting thing.
Yeah.
She said ours is her government's, as generally spoken in the parliamentary democracy, our government's focus is the competitive cooperative federalism. So again, one narrative that was built up, that is somewhere between the central government or union government versus the states, where she said we believe that development of each state, investment in each state is development of India and investment in India. So all states coming together, competing with each other, cooperating with each other, and attracting investment and ensuring development, that will ultimately lead to India's development. So there is a clear-cut, vision of the government that is expressed in Honorable President's address.
All right. Thank you so much, sir, for joining in and for your kind inputs and for this wonderful conversation. Thank you so much.